Hey folks, it's Ryan Lindsay here. I'm on This Is Cody, and I want you guys to check out my brand new debut album from 2019 called Wild.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of This Is Cody. Today's guest I have here with me, Ryan Lindsay. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you, Cody?
Not too bad. I'm excited for this interview. I know you and I have met at some events, talked about getting you on. We're finally here.
We're here.
This is good. So, starting out, how did music start for you? When did it come into your life?
Well, music started for me when I was quite young. My grandfather bought me this little plastic guitar with these plastic strings that didn't play very well, but I liked holding it. I liked the idea of it, and my family's reasonably musical, but I think I always heard stories of a couple generations before, especially my Kreiser family, my grandmother's side of the family. They were really, really musical, and I would hear these stories of them playing in family bands and stuff, and I was always really intrigued by that. So, later on I got a little guitar, and I learned how to play, and just kind of started playing around campfires and that sort of thing, and it was something that just kind of stuck with me my whole life.
Right on. When did you kind of start taking it seriously?
I think really when I turned 18, I got an opportunity to play in a cover band, and we toured around and we played bars and weddings and just about anything we could pick up, playing live gigs, and that kind of helped me develop my chops on stage. And then from there, I started writing, and kind of reached a point in my life where I felt like I had something to write about, and I wanted to share my original music. So that was probably 3 years ago that I decided to make the switch, start focusing on my own career and getting my artist music out.
Perfect. All right, so now jumping into your music, you recently released your EP, Wild.
Yes.
Tell us the inspiration behind this EP.
Well, before I was doing this, I worked as a wilderness guide, so I spent a lot of time in the backcountry and just totally fell in love with the natural world and the mountains and canoeing down rivers. And so this first debut album of mine, I really wanted to make a statement, and I felt that Wild was the best song to really say something about who I was and what I valued.
Right, okay. Now, writing your own material, do you find like just the life experiences you've had, that's where you get the inspiration from mostly?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think at the heart of every song there's some truth, and so so I think as a writer, it's walking that line between bending the story just enough to be able to get the emotion across, but there's always some truth in every single song that I put out. So
awesome. All right, now I want to talk to you about your newest video for your single, Way Back When.
You saw that?
I love this video. It was premiered on Complete Country.
Yes.
Who was it filmed by again?
It was filmed by Travis Nesbitt. You know Travis?
Yes, I've seen him a few times actually.
Yeah, he's an incredible videographer in the scene, and he comes from the rock world. He used to be a rock singer, so he's got this really kind of rough and tumble approach to videography. He's carried that whole kind of attitude into the creative scene.
Yep.
And so he's just a doer, like he does anything. So.
Yeah, his stuff is actually amazing.
Yeah.
I love his work.
So I mentioned this idea to him about going dog sledding up north, which is the video for Way Back When, and he was all about it. But yeah, we went up north, and he is a city boy, of all people. So we went up there, and I mean, I love it. I'm right in my element. And we had a little bit of fun. He was very cold. It's pretty far north, and we did some dog sledding and stuck around the homestead. Some good friends of mine live up there, so we stayed at the homestead for a week, and he got a little taste for the northern life, and we got a music video out of it at the end of the day.
That's awesome. Yeah, because it was Northwest Territories, right? Where
yeah.
You guys were? Yeah. And the only way to get there was a bush plane, is that correct?
Yeah. So Dave, my friend, is a bush pilot, and I became friends with him quite a number of years ago on a dog team trip. I went up there and I became friends with him and his family, and I've been going up there every year or 2 years ever since. And so, yeah, we were Travis and I were sitting down trying to think of like a unique idea for a music video. And at one point, Travis just said, if you had a week to do anything, what would you want to do? I said, well, I'm going to visit my friends up north. Yeah. We're going to go dog sledding. And he was like, why didn't you mention that in the first place, you know? But it's been really cool to try to build in these outdoor themes. And during the time of being a guide, I met some really interesting people. Yeah. And so I'm trying to really build that into my music, because it's tough to stand out in this industry, but it's really liberating when you realize that what makes you unique is just your own experiences. Right. You don't have to try to make anything of yourself. You just put out who you are. And so I think that Way Back When was a good representation of somewhere really special for me and a place that I value. So
yeah, no, I thought it was a great video.
Yeah,
loved it all. So awesome. All right, you've played some big shows such as the main stage at Country Thunder, Nashville North at the Calgary Stampede. What was your favorite show and why?
This past summer, Nashville North was fantastic for me. Like I said, I came up in the bar scene, and so that's a scene where people are drunk most of the time and partying, and you have to work really hard to put on a show and to draw people into the show in those kind of settings. Yep. But when you're at a show like Nashville North, where the energy is so huge, there's so many people there to come and see the show. Yep. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's such a joy because the energy just flows in those settings. So absolutely. Kind of that hard work of coming up in the bar scene really pays off, getting the opportunity to go on a big stage like Nashville North.
Perfect. And what is your favorite thing about performing in front of an audience?
I think that live music is all about connection. So I love being able to share sound with the audience, and I love being able to do callbacks. That's like my big thing. I love being able to teach lyrics and just interact with the crowd throughout my show. That's kind of what I really love to do.
Right. Perfect. All right, man. Who are some of your biggest influences and why?
Well, I grew up listening to 90s country music. The radio station that was on all the time growing up for me was CFCW, which is, still one of my favorite radio stations. They like to play that classic country kind of stuff. Yep. And they played everything from like Vince Gill to Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and Brooks and Dunn. So I think it's kind of a mesh of those artists. But I also grew up listening to my dad's collection of music, which was like Boston and the Eagles, and I think I even listened to a little bit of Meatloaf or something like, Yep. So all that kind of old Southern rock and classic rock kind of works its way into my influences as well in some way.
Perfect. Awesome. Who is someone that you dream of collaborating with one day?
Who?
And why?
That's a really good question. I think that for a Canadian guy, I would love to collaborate with Dean Brody at some point. I feel that his brand really would mesh well with mine. He's got that song Mountain Man. I think he's a funny dude. Yep. And he has a love for the outdoors, so I dig that.
Perfect. All right, man, last thing, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Well, folks, you can find me on social media at Ryan R. Lindsay, or my website, ryanlindsaymusic.com.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming
so
out. I appreciate it. Everyone go check out Ryan Lindsay. All his links will be in the description below. Make sure you check out his EP Wild, and I'll see you guys next time.
Take me back, way back when. Flip-flops, cut-offs, running outside. farmer tans. Not a worry in the world, just a wild and free, fishing all day down by the creek. Take me back, way back when getting home was only dirt roads. And if you got stuck while your neighbors were close, backyard rinks until your fingers froze. Mama's home cooking in a dry set of clothes. Yeah, I'd do it all over again, way back when. Yeah, take me back home to the days gone by. Hard days work earned you a piece of pie. Getting close to city on a bonfire night. Take me back away, back when, way back when getting home was only dirt road. And if you got stuck while your neighbors were close, Saskatoon picking till your buckets were full. Homemade tailbone, homemade toast. Yeah, I do it all over again, way back when. Way back when getting home was only dirt roads. And if you got stuck while your neighbors were close, backyard rinks until your fingers froze. Mama's home cooking in a dry set of clothes. Yeah, I do it all over again, way back when. Yeah, way back when. Take me back, way back when. Flip-flops, cut-offs, running outside, filthy farmer tans. Way back when getting home was only dirt roads. And if you got stuck while your neighbors were close, backyard rinks until your fingers froze. Mama's home cooking in a dry set of clothes.